So as for my role in this and how we're supporting the ecosystem, so I'm part of a team called Global Gateway. We're a dedicated international business development team that supports startups, scale-ups, and VCs around the world. We've worked with international clients for more than a decade. Like I said, MENA, we've been covering for about 9 years. And we support these companies through all stages, all sectors, and really focus on helping them navigate the challenges and the complexities that arise with either raising from US investors or physically expanding their businesses into the US. So our team's mission is really to empower visionary entrepreneurs like yourselves, help you guys get set up, get all your cross-border needs sorted out, and really be a resource for you as you get larger and larger and you need to scale and you need to tap into the US market. So I'm happy to give a little bit of an update on SVB. I know you guys have probably heard last year we went through a bumpy period. We were acquired by First Citizens. We're operating as a completely separate entity, doing exactly what we've been doing before. The only difference in our operating model is that now the finances are managed at the top. And we're doing exactly what we've been doing for the last 40 years, which is supporting that innovation ecosystem. So really, really happy to be here. If you guys have any questions or want to ping me properly to chat through, happy to share my information afterwards, or you guys can add me on LinkedIn. But again, really, really passionate about the ecosystem. I think what Viaka is doing is amazing. And I just love the hustler mentality of foreign companies trying to navigate fundraising and really scaling fast. So happy to be here and excited to see some of these companies today. Thank you, honey.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Yeah, we're, obviously super excited to partner with SVB. Personally, also very happy to have this great intersection of my two worlds. Moving forward really quick, I wanted to just, sorry, want to move on to the next slide, but I'm running into an issue doing that. Wanted to share really quickly what some of our upcoming events look like. So just give me a second to figure out what's going on with this. Sorry about that. So we have a bunch more events coming up this week. We have a virtual coffee hour for our members next Wednesday. We have in-person gatherings in Boston and in New York in a couple weeks. Then we also have a virtual product market fit go-to-market workshop for founders and anyone who's interested in the Viaka network as well. So we'll share links both for those who are new to join the network and also to these events in particular, so that folks have the opportunity to sign in for those. One last shout out for one of our partners. For anyone in Dubai, we've partnered with the Intersect Advisory Group, who essentially helps connect Palestinian tech talent with global enterprises. They're hosting another cool event in person in Dubai in WAMDA Capital's offices on May 8th. So if you're going to be in Dubai at that time, would highly encourage everyone to check this event out as well. Without further ado, I want to move into the event as fast as we can. We're really fortunate today to be joined by a great panel of investors who have backed exceptional companies across MENA, across Europe and North America. I'll just run through them really quickly here. We have Sali here representing Shorooq Partners, Rami Karmi from Abnewnormal Ventures, Rama Chakaki from Transform VC, and Aboud from Dash Ventures. So huge thank you to you all in advance for your time. And we're really excited to hear your thoughts and feedback on the founders who are going to be pitching. Moving on to the founders, Kazzy, we're going to start with you in a moment. But for everyone in the audience, each startup is going to have 8 to 10 minutes to pitch, and then another 8 to 10 minutes to kind of answer questions and get feedback from the investors. And then we'll jump on to the next one. So the order is going to be Kazzy going first from Dreamwell AI, Burak from Spiky, Alireza from Parkusher, and then Aman from DeepTrust is going to close us out. So that is it in terms of my intro. We'll, drop some links, as I said, in the chat for folks to join the network, sign up for some of our upcoming events. But without further ado, Kazzy, I'm going to turn it over to you first and let you set things up. And then, I'll start a timer as soon as you're ready to start your pitch.
Amazing. Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to steal the screen and get this thing underway. So first impressions today. It's all on me. Here's the pressure. Kat, you can see this?
Yes.
Lovely. Okay. So hey everyone, I'm Kazzy, the founder of Dreamwell. Dreamwell is an influencer marketing SaaS that finds profitable influencers and we automate the process. So how I like to explain how we got here is a story, because that's how I got to starting this company. At first, before starting an influencer software, I was an influencer previously. I had 1 million followers, 500,000 around on YouTube. Then I ran an influencer house in Los Angeles. It became a content house where I got to meet some of the biggest influencers in the world, from Logan and Jake Paul to David Dobrik to PewDiePie. And then what happened is I transitioned to management. I started managing a lot of these influencers. A lot of them didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to monetize their content. So I stepped into the management side, had a talent agency. And then I started getting the same pain points, the same problems from the brands. The brands would complain about the same thing over and over again. What problem is that? Or what problems are those? Simple. Brands are wasting millions of dollars on ads that simply underperform. Low return on ad spend. That's the big problem. The main reasons why the micro problems, brands are just overpaying for bad influencers and they don't even know they're overpaying. The traffic's not converting. And the current platforms that do exist, the influencer software, don't recommend profitable influencers. Those are the 3 main reasons. So those are the 3 problems that we took and we created a solution for. The solution is a B2B software powered by AI agents that are self-learning, and they target profitable influencers. It's also powered by recommender models that get more accurate over time. Essentially, we've tracked tens of thousands of campaigns. We found patterns in the most successful campaigns. How does the audience behave? How do they comment? And we've created our own prediction formula to find profitable influencers. We've automated that process as well. We automated discovery, finding the influencer, analyzing their ad value. So what's the audience strength, and automating the outreach process as well. And we put that into a chat format as well, which we're releasing in this quarter. It's essentially an AI co-pilot. You just say, hey, find these influencers for my brand. And then the software looks for these influencers, they recommend it to you, and then everything is done automatically on the co-pilot. Now, I'm going to show you a product demo as well, just to show you sort of how we do it. The customers that we do have, we launched at the end of 2023. We're fortunate enough to work with some of the forward-thinking AI companies of the world, like Perplexity AI, the new Google search, Copy AI, SpyFu, the first SEO tool, Wombo AI, the first facial AI tool as well, with hundreds of millions of users. And then CPG brands like men's skincare, tampon brands, perfume brands, Visme, which is the original Canva. And I'd love to show you a demo so that you see what I'm talking about. So we're going to pretend like we're Nike using the platform. All you do is you put your URL to whatever brand you are, you hit analyze with AI. Our software is then going to read your website. It's going to determine what it's about. It's going to spit out keywords, fitness, sports, active lifestyle. And then we're going to use TikTok for this example. We can use any of these here. Let's just do fitness goals, apply, and hit search. All these tools have search tools, right? Everybody can search for influencers. That's not special. But for us, what we do is we analyze the audience. We determine an audience score, and that gives us the value of the creator. Now, I'll click this as an example, this creator profile. Brands don't know how much to pay an influencer. That's ultimately what it is. They don't know the benchmark. They just say, hey, how much money do you want? they'll say, I want $2,000, and the brand will usually pay the $2,000. So what we really obsess about is trying to understand what's the value of the creator for their ad. Now, how we determine this, I'll go to an even more expensive one, is we're looking at the audience score over here. And this allows us to determine the CPM, the cost per thousand. Essentially, this pricing formula is derived from 6 additional formulas, 5 of them here. And the most important one is performance data. So performance data is essentially when you work with an influencer, you get how many visitors came from the ad, what was the profit. The AI then reads this data and it funnels it back into the recommendation engine here. So now the recommendations, just like an algorithm would do, is starting to reflect the learnings that the AI was able to do, right? Because let's just say Nike works with one of these influencers. It's going to learn. It's going to say, okay, this type of influencer actually is more valuable than $65. She's worth $500. So the AI is going to factor that into its subsequent recommendations. And the other AI piece that I'll show, and I'll get back to the demo or the presentation, is testing landing pages to see which has a higher conversion lift. Basically, when an influencer brings his audience to a landing page, it's just a generic landing page. Everyone has the same looking page. What our AI can do is change the landing page. It can show different variations from the same link, and it can just look for which version has a higher conversion lift, right? If I add a comedic tone to it, if I put the image on the right, if I make the subject bigger in blue, if that has a higher conversion rate, the AI starts to learn and changes the landing page automatically. So it's adaptive. Now, what we also do is we're trying to essentially figure out, how do we predict the ROI of the influencer? How can we get good at analyzing their content and them before paying them, right? So what we're building as well as part of this fundraiser in this quarter is a machine learning framework where we could do different correlation testing by indexing different data points. So for example, we're trying to see, is there like a certain topic that when influencers talk about, it correlates to higher revenues? Is the sentiment, does that affect the revenue? Even the color, does a certain color like blue or red affect the ROI? Or the voice pitch or background music? We're trying to get to a point where by simply analyzing a video, we want to be able to predict what's the outcome of that video by conducting these tests and analyzing them, storing them in our database, and allowing the agent to get smarter and smarter at making these predictions. Our business model is just a traditional SaaS model where we charge customers per month. We're now introducing commission on ad spend as well this quarter, from the brands as well. So over 1/5 of brands spend over $250,000 a year. So there are a lot of customers that currently have big influencer operations and they need to make it more efficient. So that's what we're hoping to do with these the bigger ICPs. So as I mentioned, I was an influencer first and then a manager. I've created a software in the past. It was an influencer software. It was an exclusive app software. It was only comparison I can make is OnlyFans. It wasn't OnlyFans, but it was similar to that, where we create custom apps for influencers. They promote it, and then they're able to release exclusive content for a subscription. And then my co-founder, Anthony, was the lead staff engineer at Instacart, and he led the whole API enterprise platform that's currently used today by Kroger, Walmart, and Costco. We've raised capital last summer, fortunately, from 2 VPs or 2 executives from Uber, their vice president of marketing, and their ex-director of marketing technology. The big vision for us is to start in the influencer space and then naturally cross into a new market, which is the A/B testing. It's the one where I showed the AI changing the landing page on its own to show different variations. And then what we want to do is we want to get into marketing attribution, which is essentially like Google Analytics. Because we're able to track so much of the performance data with our pixel, we have much more data than just the influencer return on ad spend. We have essentially all of it. So the best comparison for us as a company that we're striving to kind of replicate or emulate, not competing with, it's HubSpot. So they have the sales hub, service hub, CRM hub, right? Marketing hub. For us, we want these 3 markets to be powered by this. This is the big vision. These are 3 different agents. It's like a group chat with 3 different bots. You would come in here as a brand. You'd say, hey, what type of search do you suggest for my brand? The search bot would say, 1 sec. Here's the filters we recommend. You say, all right, let's do it. It gives you 3 influencers. Then you say, tell me more about the 3rd influencer. Then the next bot comes in, the analyze bot. He says, okay, I'm going to analyze, bam, $500. This is why, this is his audience score. Then the next bot comes in, a different automated workflow. He says, would you like me to create a campaign? Yes. He puts it in a campaign. He writes the outreach message on his own. Perfect, let's send it. All of these pieces are already built on the back end. Now what we're doing is tying these into the front end and presenting it as a chat UX interface. And then this is how we're going to present these 3 markets on the chat UX presentation. We're currently raising a seed round. We've secured a lead investor. It's a tier 1 US investor. We're currently looking for follow-on investors. We're speaking to Shorooq Group right now, actually, with Tina. So, so that's cool. But yes, we're also looking for additional capital. We're pretty oversubscribed on the round. So now we're just trying to select which investors are the most strategic investors for us. And we are looking for 1 Middle Eastern presence investor. We have Canadian, we have US, we have several US. We want at least 1 MENA investor as well, because we want to expand our operation into the Middle East, especially UAE and Dubai. I know Dubai is a massive hub for influencers. So I'm hoping maybe this presentation we can get to that milestone as well. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And I hope that was an informative presentation.
Thanks so much, Kazzy. I'm gonna bring just our investors onto the spotlight as well. And feel free to the 4 of you to just like start firing questions away.
Kazzy, I'll start if no one else minds. Fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
I'm representing Dash Ventures. I work for one of the oldest VCs in the region. We work really closely with Shorooq as well, so I know Tina quite well. I just have a couple questions, and then I'll let other people ask. First one is, I'd love to understand in what capacity Perplexity is a customer, right? They don't strike me as a company that would use influencer marketing. And the second question is more on the influencer side. Obviously, you're creating these recommendations for how much value they can bring and what to charge them, but that doesn't guarantee they're going to go off and then agree with that price, right? So what's the interaction like between brand and influencer after you've given that recommendation?
Great questions. The first one, Perplexity, is a very interesting case. So what we're doing for them and what they're doing on the platform is similar to what Google did 22 years ago. So what Google did is they introduced search certificates. They introduced the Google certificate program, which essentially they went to teachers. They said, look, there's this new thing called search on the internet. You want to learn this to not get behind. We're literally replicating that exact campaign with them, and we're working with teachers on TikTok, but instead it's for AI certificates. So it's the exact same use case that Google did, which I find interesting. Obviously, they're a challenger to Google. And so they're finding TikTokers that are teachers that have a teacher audience. It's a very, very niche focus. And so that's essentially what we're helping them do. It's actually launching this week with Perplexity. They're already our customer from last month, but I mean, the actual campaigns are launching this week. And then the second question, it's a great question. So what's happened is, so the question is, just to reframe it, is cool. The software says Aboud is asking for $5,000, but he's only worth 1,000. So what happens? So at first there was a lot of non-starters, which means like nothing would happen. Like there would be no deal, right? So at first we're protecting the brand from wasting $5,000 on Aboud in this example, which we thought the hypothesis here was that they'd be happy that we saved them. But instead, it's like, well, guys, we still need to spend our budget, right? So what happened was what we did is we introduced a mechanism where as soon as like the deal doesn't go through with you for the $5,000 or the 1,000 in this case, the software immediately recommends the next best influencer, which is actually a better fit than you would be, right? So and we work with agencies as well, like influencer agencies. So a lot of the communication is happening between the brand and the agents. So what we're finding is the brands are then going to the agents and saying, look, I have the software that I'm using. It's a sophisticated pricing tool. Unless you can justify why your influencer is worth 17 times more than the recommended price, I'm not going to be able to go with this price tag. So at first, the ad spend budgets were lowered for all of our customers because a lot of deals weren't getting done, but we were protecting these customers from honestly burning their cash, because a lot of them were spending 10 grand on an influencer and getting zero in revenue. Literally, we were seeing that a lot in the software. So it's a mixed bag, not a mixed bag, but there's a bunch of different things that we're seeing, Aboudi. Some of them we're seeing like other influencers be recommended to them. Some of them, they're just not doing the deals. Some of them, they're doing the deals with a bad price tag, but they're not even looking for conversion. They just have to spend the budget. So we're seeing a bunch of different things. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, perfect. I'll let other people ask questions and
Yeah.
we can connect after.
Lovely.
Hi, Kazzy. I've got a question about your moat, your tech moat. Do you have any deep tech AI, any network effects in there? What's your advantage over others?
1,000%. And I'm gonna show you. Yes, we definitely do. So the technical moat here it is. You can't still see my screen, can you? Probably not.
No.
Okay, here it is. So I omitted this from the presentation, but I'll show this one. So there's a lot of companies that are wrapping GPTs on OpenAI and calling it a company, which they can absolutely do, but I don't think there's any defensibility to that. There's not, right? So what we're doing is, because of the private data that we're getting from customers. When I say private data, it means revenue data, traffic, clicks, customer data, right? This is not, you can't get these data points from LLMs. So what we're doing first is getting millions and millions of dollars, which we already have, of this data set, these data sets. We then parse the data. We run them through our own models, like our own prediction model, pricing model, audience analysis models. That then spits out new data, right? Like the recommended price or an audience score. Then what happens is, when the ad goes live, we funnel in that performance data, this data, back into the engine, and it gets smarter. How it gets smarter is, let's just say you told the model, or the AI says, hey, this guy's worth $1,000. Because it tracks the revenue, and the revenue goes back into the system, proprietary revenue, right? Sorry, proprietary data, not from an LLM. The agent then learns and says, hey, this was originally, we thought it was $1,000 worth. They did 5K in revenue. That then learns, and it gets smarter because it now has real data to base it off of. So that's essentially it. That's essentially how we're building our technical moat. Is the more deals that we have, two models. We have a general model that everybody uses, and then a custom model. The custom model is what a customer owns themselves, and they don't share that data with other companies, right? That's been a huge, there's been, I mean, it's going to get even worse now, but there's a lot of security concerns about privacy and data, right? So what we had to do is create two different models. So I can talk about this for 20 straight minutes, but I want to kind of, that's where I want to stop, is that the defensibility here is that we have private data that's not from these LLMs, parsed, recommended, and then the recommender models uses that proprietary revenue data to get smarter and smarter and smarter. And every brand has their own model. That's the most important part, right? Because for Nike, this influencer is worth $1,000, but for Sephora, this influencer is worth $30, right? So, okay, I'll pause there. I'll let you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll jump in there, Kazzy. Thank you so much for the presentation. Sali here from Shorooq. Yeah, Tina mentioned she's speaking to you guys. Maybe a quick question from my side. Just curious to know what really is the sentiment from influencers. So the value proposition from a brand side is very clear, right?
Yeah.
From an influencer, I would maybe imagine or assume there's a little bit of pushback, right? Because you're kind of shedding a lot of transparency in the space where, you know, sometimes you just take someone's word for it when it comes to rates and reach and effectiveness and so on. So
Yeah.
just curious to kind of know what has been the sentiment from influencers and agencies in terms of adoption.
Totally. Good question. So I want to preface this answer by saying I've managed over 250 influencers up to date, because I have owned an influencer talent agency previously. I obviously was an influencer myself, so I'm very empathetic towards how they feel, right? So I know exactly what they want, what they don't want. Now, the truth is we're fixing the market, right? We're trying to add transparency, And what's going to naturally happen is the ones that are asking for $10,000 because they've screwed over McDonald's for that much are only worth $400, right? That's a non-starter. At that point, there's just nothing you can do, and that influencer will be exposed by the product. But the way our product is built is it doesn't recommend these influencers, right? It's not a marketplace. I really dislike the marketplace model because it limits you to my network. And my network is most likely not the best available influencer. So these influencers are few and far in between being recommended to these brands. So that's number one by design. Number two, to scale the influencer operation, we're working with the talent agencies because they have hundreds of influencers each. The communication is between us and them. And these influencer agencies know when I speak to them to do a partnership, I'm like, guys, we're probably going to work with your top 7-8% of influencers, not because we're selective, but the software is going to target them because they have a high audience score, right? What we're starting to see is these influencers that have a high audience score, I don't know if it's a correlation or causation, but they don't usually overspike their prices from what we're seeing, at least with the sample size data that we do have. The ones that overcharge are the ones that have a lot of followers, terrible audience scores. Those are the ones that are asking for the most, but they're actually not being recommended by the software. So that's kind of how we're seeing it. Now we help the influencers increase their ad value. I'm not forgetting about them. Obviously, it's the world I came from. How we do that is by analyzing. Remember, I showed like we index data, tonality, sentiment analysis, right? Color analysis. We tell the influencer on the influencer side of software, which we're releasing this quarter, place the ad in the first 10 percentile of the video, make the ad 40 seconds long, have better lighting, slow down your words per minute. Why would we give these actionable insight recommendations? Because the software knows that when you do these things, your value goes up because there's a distinct correlation to revenue. So we don't forget about the influencers. We try to help them increase their value. But if they're asking for way more than their value, the software will show the brand that this is simply not nearly their value.
Got it. Sure. Thanks.
No problem. Great questions, by the way.
Kazzy, maybe you can just, sorry, shed some light on your, I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. Yes, drink some water.
Maybe you can help us just shed some light on your go-to-market strategy
Yeah.
in terms of scaling what you're doing today.
Yeah. So I would say about 45% of our customers came directly from myself because I still have a presence online. I have the top influencer marketing badge on LinkedIn. So whenever I post about the problem, the CEOs of these companies that became our customers, they reach out to me directly. So that's number one, founder-led sales or founder content-led sales. I'll call it that. The second one is just traditional cold outbound. Like Perplexity came from cold outbound. Visme came from cold outbound. How we plan on scaling. So part of the capital we're raising, 55% of it is going to go straight to product. So AI-focused engineers that are full stack. 25 to 30% are going to go towards revenue acquisition. That's going to be SDRs, like sales development reps, that are from overseas. Like we're not going to be hiring any sales development reps from North America. I've been working with ones from like Asia, Europe, and they've been exceptional. They got us Perplexity. They got us some of our biggest clients. So we're going to scale that operation. We're going to hire more SDRs. And then the third one is we're bringing in one of our customers is SEO expert. He left the company to create a very strong content marketing funnel for us. Again, I come from the influencer world. I had 1 million followers previously, which I turned into larger campaigns myself. So it's hiring a video editor, using my channel as leverage. It still has 500,000 subscribers, and it's making content about the company and then bringing in customers that way as well. So those are the 3 avenues for the go-to-market.
Cool. Thanks.
No problem.
Awesome. Kazzy, thank you so much. Great pitch. Investors, thanks for the questions. Wishing you all the best, Kazzy. Really excited about what you're building.
Absolutely. If anybody wants to connect, feel free to connect after the call as well. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Bring you up to talk about Parkusher.
Perfect. Can you guys hear me? I'm just making sure that the sound is good. Perfect.
Yep.
Let's
Pretty good.
share my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yes, it is visible. Yep.
Perfect. Excellent. So, hey everyone, I will present Parkusher. I'm super glad to be here, and actually, I'm glad that you guys are privileged enough to hear and see Parkusher before it comes to your own city, because definitely you will see it soon in your city. So let's start, and let me explain you the most painful experience when it comes to a driver journey, and this is called parking. Parking is quoted the most stressful part of driving. 53% of drivers are likely to avoid or abandon plans completely due to parking. That's crazy. If you think about it, an average driver spends 107 hours annually just trying to find parking. I think, Sarah, you're from New York, so you can confirm that finding a parking spot in New York is the most hectic thing to do. And I don't know about you guys, but beside parking, one thing I hate the most is traffic. And 30% of traffic in big cities is created from people and drivers that are just looping around by hoping to find a parking spot. And as if it was not enough, welcome to the maze and the puzzle of North American cities. So people from Boston, LA, New York, Montreal, you're kind of used to that. For people that are not from North America, whenever you find a parking spot, well, you have to try to understand this puzzle before you are able to park. If you come to Montreal, good luck, because everything is in French. So if you don't speak French, well, you cannot even see what the meanings of the signs are. And if you go to any big city in the US, it's all the same. It's a lot of stress, a lot of complication for the users and drivers. And this is where Parkusher comes through. Parkusher is your stress-free AI parking assistant. Our vision was to remove the stress from the driver journey, but step by step, because we cannot just do everything at the same time. So we did, by the first step, developing our own AI that with one scan can read all the sign in Montreal and let you know with a clear answer if you can't or you can park. And this AI also take account of what type of vehicle you're driving. So if it's a gas car, van car, electric car, or Tesla or whatever, the AI understand it and can read the sign tailored to your vehicle. There's a timer for you that will let you know when you need to move your car so you never get a parking ticket again. And the feedback was amazing. We launched the product in September last year, and every day I receive personally emails from random people I had never have met, and they're all saying, thank you so much. The product feedback is amazing. Everywhere you go on our social media, TikTok, email, website, you can see the code, and people are just saying, I love this product. It saved me money every day. And the user growth is actually showcasing the same thing. We just launched less than a year ago, and we are reaching the 12,000 users on our app. We are adding on average 500 to 600 users per day, and we are only in Montreal already. We didn't even expand to any other city. The users are using the app and they're loving what we're offering to them. And we're not done yet. Again, just to remember you guys, we're going step by step to remove the stress. So the first step was you find the parking spot, and then you're trying to understand if you can or cannot park. But now, since almost a year, the scanning was getting all the data from the streets. So we were able to come up with one amazing feature that nobody had did before, is that our AI will predict free parking spot on the street. So you will have a real-time map, as you can see in the images right now, with green and red line that will tell you at any moment, at anywhere you want to go, what are the restrictions where you can park or if you cannot park without even being there. And instead of just circling around and looking for parking in places that you have zero odds, our AI will tell you to redirect you to the places that you have a better odds of finding a parking spot. And for people that love indoor parking and they love to put their car in a secure space, well, guess what? We have something coming for you guys by the end of 2024, and our AI will revamp the indoor parking experience also. So what is the parking market? Because every time I'm talking about parking, people always have the image of a dark land with like no lights where they just put their cars and that's it, you know? But it's not like this. Actually, parking industry in US only, it's worth more than $8 billion. And just the city of Montreal, which is a small island, have an annual revenue of $177 million from parking ticket only. That's how many tickets were given to users. So every driver is getting those tickets every day. And it's just too much headache and stress for the driver, for the user. So how are we going to make money from this market? One thing I want to make sure that we're all clear on is that the scanning will always be free. The scanning is the data entry, the first place that we get the data in. So it will always be free scanning, unlimited for the user, so they can scan and we can get the data as much as we can. Right now we have a premium where when you scan and you park your car, it will just let you know where your car is parked, and it costs 99 cents a month or $6.99 per year. Those are Canadian prices. And eventually, when the map feature is going to come in a couple of weeks, those prices are going to increase. And we have a B2B model where we are working with other businesses to give them the AI technology that we built so they can either help our users in their journey or their users in their journey. And I will show you an example in a couple of minutes. This is just a revenue so far. As you can see, the first contract in B2B give us that's kind of revenue. The B2C side, we just launched it last month with $1.0699 as you sent, and the revenues are actually going up every day. People are signing up to the premium. But the B2B is where we are actually going to focus a lot because we can help our users to remove the stress. So we partner with Ticket 911, which is a traffic law firm from coast to coast in Canada. They have more than 100,000 cases on traffic violation. So in North America, whenever you get a traffic ticket, it can be parking, it can be any ticket. You can go into court and contest and even win the ticket. We partner with them. Our AI analyzed all the cases, and this is the first time that a parking app will have an AI counseling in the app. If anytime any user get a parking ticket, hopefully not, or get any other traffic ticket with one scan, they will be able to scan the parking ticket. Our AI will read the ticket, analyze it, and compare to what the data he has, and give the next step to follow. And you can even book an appointment right away with a lawyer and just go home, sit and relax until your court date comes. So you don't need to figure out and go here and then stress about paying a $200 ticket. And we have potential partnership coming. Again, if you come to Montreal, you don't speak French. If I go to Qatar, I might not speak Arabic. If I go to Lisbon, I don't speak Portuguese. You will need assistant with you all the time. And this is where we want to partner soon with Expedia or any car sharing company, because we want to bring Parkusher globally. And we want to, everywhere you go, we want you to feel home and be able to explore the city as if it was yours. And who are we? So we are 4 software engineers with a vision, and we started last year, the company. We graduated actually last year from Concordia University in Canada. I'm the CEO of the company. You have my CPO, Lujane. Ryan is our CTO, and CEO is CVAC. And the timeline, as you can see, yes, we launched the product. Right now in 2024, we are launching and expanding Parkusher in different cities. We are actually expanding to Toronto in June. We're going to be in the Collision Summit. We're going to expand to 10 different cities by the end of 2024, 8 in North America and 2 in Europe. In 2025, what I really want is that we want to expand in Middle East, especially because they are going heavily on tourism. And even if Middle East has the easiest parking stuff, but us coming from North America, we are looking for that complication. And if we get to a place that is easy, we're going to be confused because we're looking and searching for the complication about parking. So we will expand in Middle East to make sure that anybody from North America or Europe that goes to these places to visit, they can always feel like home. And the best case scenario of what's going to come from Parkusher, the best case scenario is that we're going to be the market leader and have the most data, and our AI will lead us to $1 billion revenue. But the most realistic scenario is that we can become a popular North American parking app and generate revenue and be profitable enough, but stay in North America. And the worst case scenario, which I love it actually, is that we are going to be known as the parking guys in Montreal, because that's just what's happening right now. Everywhere we go, people are looking at us and they know us and they're like, hey, you guys are the parking guys. So that could be fun also. If not, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you very much again. I hope we're going to see you soon in your city so you can explore your city with confidence. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Alireza. I will bring up the investors, but feel free to start asking questions, guys. I can jump in with a question if to get
Yeah.
things started. I was wondering, Alireza, is there any applicability to the technology, less so for like rental cars, but more for like delivery drivers, identifying like potentially the right place or the most efficient place to stop for deliveries on any given day?
Yes, and this is something that we are working on it also for later on in, I will say, 2025, is that the more data we're going to get about in our own map and the more traffic data we're getting to the map, we are not sure how yet, but we want to actually remove the not like Uber Eats, DoorDash, all those drivers that just double stop. We want to remove them and guide them to a better fluidity. But yes, we are thinking about it, but we didn't come up with an idea yet. But it's part of the plan because when I walk to downtown Montreal, we have a line of double, triple the parked car, and they're all waiting for the food to come. So we are working on, and that's why we are trying to get Uber to come and give us some data on that.
Nice, nice.
Alireza, whenever we're looking at apps like this, we always try and understand whether this is a feature or a full-fledged potential platform. And given that there are a lot of existing apps that are handling some element of parking, where are you creating this deep moat that's going to really differentiate you and keep you at a platform level?
Excellent question. And there are many parking apps, especially in North America, and like they all do stuff differently. It's just that if you think about it, no one was able to remove the friction when it comes to parking. The friction's still there. Some people maybe fix it for indoor parkings. Some people try to fix it when it comes to user data. So people say, oh, you can park or you cannot park it. But nobody fixed the whole friction that if you're in a rush, you want to go to your event, you don't want to leave 3 hours earlier to just try to find for parking. You want to go there and know that, hey, I can count on Parkusher. They will guide me and get me that spot. It can be indoor, it can be outdoor. So this is where we're focusing, and we bring in the technology to it also, is that it's not just a map with the pinpoint parking, indoor parking, so you have to look and search for it. It's going to be us who's going to guide you where you need to go instead of you like hustling and searching for finding the spot. And I think this is the part that not any other app figure out yet. And we kind of figuring out in our way of going through it, is you stop searching for the place and you just close your eyes and go. Like the feature we're seeing is that you say, hey S, I will not say because all your phone's gonna go on. Hey Siri or hey, okay Google, find me a parking spot near my destination, and it's done. It's done. You either indoor or outdoor, it guides you and you just stop your car. That's the big vision we're having.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll jump in. Can you just expand on what you just explained, but from the tech stack point of view? Tell us a bit more on what's happening under the hood.
What exactly you want to know? If you want to know the tech stack, so we are using like a different language model to actually read the parking sign. Parking sign are trained for every city by a PDF that the government publicly give, and by us that manually took parking sign pictures. And it's based on TensorFlow and other libraries. And every time a picture comes in, it matches with what the database has, and it gets better and better. And it label itself also to make sure that the accurate answer comes whenever somebody's taking the picture. When it comes to the map feature that we show, we getting is a script, Python script running that we're getting all the data, and we conduct them on a line. So we can have a line, for example, somebody scan at that location, what was the answer? And then somebody behind. So we conduct all together to be able to get those lines on the street and know the restriction on those street. And then we finally got the city to collab with us. So we were able to compare our result with the city to see what we got is okay or not. And it was actually pretty much accurate. So that's how the tech stack is going.
Okay, excellent. Thanks.
Yeah, we had to build it from scratch because it was such a like niche need, if I can tell you, for scanning the parking signs, especially understanding them in French. But yeah, that's now it's ready to be expanded to any other city.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Alireza, for the presentation. A quick question. So, given that process, how fast are you guys able to kind of launch a new city and kind of be operating there?
Yeah, perfect. So a product like this, I think it's gonna also answer your question, Rama, a bit. Is that a product like this, either it has to go to multiple city as soon as possible, or it will not be, we will not have enough data. So 2 years ago, when we were building the AI and the base of the AI, we made sure that whenever time comes and we switch to the expanding, every 2 weeks we can expand to a brand new city. And that's exactly where we are right now. We just wanted to make sure that the business model and we just wanted to make perfect the business model in Montreal. So we tried some stuff, tried some feature, and now that everything is clear and is working perfectly, since we're gonna launch in Toronto in June, July is gonna be Vancouver, and July we're also coming to New York, and then August Boston, LA, and we every 2-3 weeks we're planning to expand to every other city. And that's the reason also why we're fundraising, because the whole company was bootstrapping until now. And the only reason why we're fundraising is to have more fuel to be able to expand to city faster, as fast as we could. In the 2 weeks period when we expand, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Alireza, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing this in Boston because I know it's a huge, I
Yeah.
can speak from personal experience, huge challenge parking here.
Yeah, Boston, it was crazy. I was not ready for see Boston sign. When I saw them, I was shocked. They are worse than Montreal. Yeah.
Come to LA, you'll see even worse.
Yeah.
All right. Then yeah, we will turn it over to Aman to take us home for the final pitch of the day. Aman, I will bring you up. You're on the screen now, so do your thing.
All right. Yeah, like he says, we're in the final stretch, so everybody, get yourselves comfortable, and hopefully we'll get this going. Let me share my screen real quick. Oh wait, let me actually do it with sound. Sorry. Share screen with sound. There we go. No. Oops. Am I sharing the slide?
Now, you were just
My
on the
bad.
slide. The last
Yeah,
one.
my bad. All right, there we go. How's it going, everyone? Again, my name is Aman, and I am the founder, CEO of DeepTrust, where our mission is to protect human authenticity. And now that I've introduced myself, I'm going to introduce a good friend of all of ours. His name is, oh shoot, why did it do that? All right, Joe, the average Joe. Joe goes to work, he comes back home to his wife and kids, he's on social media, he keeps up with his friends and family on there, he gets to see what everyone's up to, and everyone gets to see what he's up to. Everyone gets to see what he's up to. And thanks to the current state of technology, something happens to Joe that's been happening to more and more people. His voice was stolen. That's very ominous. No, his vocal cords weren't stolen in his sleep or anything like that. Actually, what happens, thanks to generative AI, someone was able to go to his social media. They only needed 3 seconds of a video of his video clip from anything he's posted online, and they were able to generate a voice clone model. So now this malicious actor can speak into the model, and out Joe's voice comes. So obviously the implication for that is basically scared, very crazy. A few days later, his wife calls him saying, "Why did you call me saying you're kidnapped, asking for ransom money?" His IT director at work is telling him, "Why do you keep calling to change your password?" And this is what we call the liar's paradox of generative AI. If you know the liar's paradox, it's a contradictory, statement and philosophy. But in generative AI, we see the direction that everything's going in. People will see enough things, hear and see enough things that seem real, but actually turn out to be fake. The question will no longer be, "Oh, is this fake?" The actual question will become, what really is real? So as you can see, the scale of the problem we're trying to tackle here is huge. It's the fact that you can't trust anything anymore. That's already been a problem. We've had digital mistrust for years, but we've now hit an inflection point thanks to generative AI, because you can no longer truly rely on your own senses of seeing and hearing to actually believe, make decisions, and inform your perception of reality. So the solution that we see is now a necessity is to build the trust layer across the entire internet, where you have a layer of authentication and verification that verifies everything that you're seeing and hearing. And to start, we're building detection models that do exactly that. So how large is this opportunity? Just think about it. The fact we're not even in a real room right now explains our dependence on digital content. I'm not speaking to you guys directly. It's going over a digital medium. It can be manipulated in between, and then now it's coming to your end on the other side. So any opportunity for all digital content types across all distribution channels and all use cases, you need to have that layer of trust. Just like how we have identity authentication, we have a need for content authentication. The team as it is right now, myself and Noah. Noah has a background in building B2B businesses, helping me build an actual business out of the technology I've built. He's done this as head of operations at multiple startups from stages of pre-seed all the way to Series D. And then myself, my background is in AI and ML engineering, where I spent the last 3 years at Cruise, building out their orchestration and model distribution infrastructure to scale, as well as building multiple models from a research perspective during my time at Duke. And this is now my 3rd time rodeo as a startup founder. And together, we're more than happy to introduce VoxGuard. It's the ability to protect and identify stolen voices in a generative world. We have 2 ends of the full end-to-end solution. We have a reactive solution and proactive. Reactively, we're able to detect voice clones without any need of fine-tuning and know which voice clone model it comes from. So provenance, true provenance, history of where it comes from. And then proactive defense, where you watermark the content so you can know, again, the source that it's coming from, and it's meant to be easily integratable into any channel of voice. And in fact, I'm going to try to do something that I don't usually do, but I'm going to demo at least a little bit of it, and then we'll come back to it. I'm going to demo the voice clone detection, and I'm going to let you guys listen to two clips of audio, both of me. One is real, and then I took that real clip and I trained a voice clone on it. So this is the real clip right here.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
As you
H,
can
I,
hear,
K, K, L, M, N, O.
Beautiful singing. So I sang the ABCs and I used that to train a clone.
This is
And
a
this is
voice
the
clone
clone.
of Aman. I was able to create this with only...
And actually, here's an even scarier one.
Hi, Mom, it's Aman. Can you send me my social security number? I need it for my new job.
WhatsApp mothers are, they're exposed right now. This is obviously that's a little bit more scary of that situation. So we'll go to our model playground here, upload these 2 files, and it will basically launch analysis jobs where they separate and segment the audio, analyze each piece, and pick up the patterns, audio artifacts, where you can know which part of it is synthetic and which one's not. So I've uploaded the real one here, and I'm going to do the same for the generated one. And we'll just continue the slides in the meantime, and then come back to it at the end. Let's get back to the slides here. So, in fact, to give you guys like a visual, what we're actually doing again is we're taking audio representation, so the MEL spectrograms, training it on synthetic artifacts that are outside of our hearing range, and then we're able to detect it. And not only that, we're able to match different patterns to different types of voice clone models. So if it came from 11 Labs, Play HT, whatever, we're able to pick up those unique artifacts based on the outsource of the source of the audio. So in this image, you can see this is coming from a paper. You can see the real speech from a model of a lady speaking. They made a clone of her. You can see visually kind of looks the same. That's the same how something can sound the same to us. But then in reality, there's an absolute difference between the two because of the synthetic generated artifacts that only a voice clone model would produce. So let's get to the business side of things. So what are we selling here, right? Right now, we're providing access to our models through an API and model playground. What you saw earlier was the model playground, where you have some user-friendly controls and data visualization, but then the API allows us to integrate these models into any infrastructure. So that combined with a usage-based subscription model where we charge $1 per minute for every type of analysis for audio, which by the way only costs us about a penny and a half. We then in return subscriptions where you get bulk minutes at a discounted rate. So with those two things combined, the product and the business model, we started selling in January, and since then we have an active pipeline worth at least $4 million, formalized 2 partnerships, 4 LOIs, and we've kicked off multiple design partners with some large publicly traded companies like Lemonade Insurance and Sony Music. And we're finalizing multiple business contracts as well that are worth 120K at least. So just to give you a glance of where our pipeline is at, we have customers from digital forensics where they work with like the FBI, CIA to verify digital evidence that you have. We work with IP and copyright customers. So you're talking about studios, music labels, or anyone that has any sort of IP they want to protect. And then you have, of course, the security use cases, such as like security insurance, financial services, insurance, et cetera, et cetera. And even though all these end use cases exist, they actually come to us with one of 2 similar needs. They either need real-time detection. So as content is coming in, they need it verified and given more context of what they're listening. And then post-content analysis. So the content already exists as a whole, analyze it and help us again, give us more context to what we're hearing. So the vertical we have some of the most conviction in. Again, we're early stages, so we're exploring multiple verticals. But the one that we have the most conviction in is in the security space, in particular, any security system that uses voice authentication systems, because they needed us yesterday and they're just sitting ducks to this sort of malicious attack. You're talking about financial services, again, insurance, and then any business that uses remote calling, so call centers, help desk, and like I mentioned, Lemonade Insurance is one of our design partners, and they're using it for security use cases to integrate it into Zoom, Google Meet, these sort of things. And where we sit in terms of the landscape, why DeepTrust is unique, we are an AI first company. Yes, we have detection models, but for us, deepfake detection is actually only one tool in the entire toolkit to actually solve content mistrust. We are not just a deepfake detection company. What we truly are is a AI-powered content authentication. With our proactive measures to our reactive measures, we are essentially the only ones that have a full end-to-end solution. And we look beyond cybersecurity or security needs. Like I mentioned before, some of the people in our pipeline include security use cases, IP, digital forensics, and et cetera. So where we're at right now is we're currently raising a pre-seed to bring DeepTrust to the market. We've already filled up the majority of our round. We're about 30% in, and we've got the likes of multiple angels who are leaders in the AI space, Web3, as well as startup. They have a great background in startups as well. So what we're looking for is not just capital, but people who are essentially partners and help us build the true foundations of our business here, especially filling in any of our knowledge gaps with where we're at. So yeah, that's DeepTrust. We're protecting human authenticity. And actually, let's go back to the model playground. I totally forgot about that. Let's refresh these real quick here. As you can see, my real voice gives a green, and the generated voices gives a red, and the heat map sort of, as you can see from multiple jobs, it like segments the audio, telling you, okay, this is where it's suspicious or not. So yeah, that's basically it. That's DeepTrust, where we protect human authenticity. Thank you.
Aman, thank you so much. Great pitch. Obviously, super excited about what you guys are doing. And everyone, thank you for joining. I'm going to turn it over to the investors, but I'm also just going to drop a few more links in the chat for folks who came in a bit late. Great pitch, Aman, and yeah, I'll turn it over one more time to the investor panel.
Yeah, Aman, it was a great pitch, honestly, just great energy and great job articulating the problem and how it's relevant to us at the moment. So the example you gave was a consumer one, right? Joe gets in trouble for his wife thinking he's, kidnapped or whatever it was. Is there a direct-to-consumer angle here eventually where it's like you have, let's say, for example, content creators who have hours of content on the internet, and then they can sign up for a service like yours where it's like, fishes through all their content and protects that content from being recorded or duplicated? Is there any way where that's a possibility?
Yeah, I'll say absolutely. Within our vision, it's being able to be anywhere you can see and hear something. We're there to help verify it. But the reality is, when it comes to like building a business, the history of like consumer security products, kind of they have a bad rap. So we didn't want to take that risk. We did like test the consumer market, see their appetite. There is one a little bit, but not strong enough as a pre-seed startup to jump all the way into. So we've actually we have some connections at Norton, and Norton has this new product called Norton Genie. It's early stages. We've like exchanged proposals to one another and how we'd operate together, and they're doing quite well with this. The scale of it, they've already in 2 months gotten 1 million downloads, and we're going to white label our stuff. So primarily their scam detection is text based, but they want to integrate it into phone calls and things like that. So our offering is pretty clear there. We white label to them. Obviously, money will come out of it, but more importantly, we can like actually battle test, our technology in the consumer space, especially scams and things like that.
Thank you. Very clear. And I agree. Just wanted to ask the question.
Aman, how can a early stage VC help you other than funding?
Yeah, I mean, I do. You guys mentioned I have some good energy, but I have no experience in enterprise sales. So, any sort of person that has business building skill sets that fill in my gaps, I'm a human being. There's things I won't know, and there's things I don't know. So, people who can come in and they have those skill sets that I could benefit from, either through guiding me or connecting me with their network. Those are the key things that I'm really looking for when I bring people on. I am a human being, not a deep fake. I can verify that.
Thank you, Aman, for the presentation. Maybe just quick one from my side to understand the use cases in the music industry, and if you see any crossover to other spaces in media and entertainment beyond kind of content creators and the social space.
Yes, absolutely. So I actually, even though I mentioned the vertical we had a lot of conviction for is the security space, the people who actually have the biggest pain point is the IP and copyright. So for example, music labels have become more and more relevant to their artists and things like that, because people can launch independently. So a lot of their revenue comes from copyright striking. I'm pretty sure influencers, I know Cassie earlier, they experienced that a lot. And one of the first ways that voice clones sort of hit the mainstream was when we saw that Drake AI, Weekend AI, and everyone was like, oh, this sounds like Drake. Universal was like, oh, this sounds like Drake. And they did not like that whatsoever. They see this as a, series of a situation as peer-to-peer was 20 years ago, like detrimental to a business, because that's a whole new revenue stream they're not capturing. They're already struggling to capture their copyright space. So what we're doing for them is we're coming to them saying we have this technology, not only detects voice clones, but we can watermark their content. So we can not only find when people use the existing copyrighted material, but we can also find out if model companies have trained on it. So that's the whole licensing space. And then on top of that, capture any net new material in the wild. So if someone tries to make, Taylor Swift sing NWA, obviously there's multiple problems that come with that, but we can catch it because that's net new material that Taylor's never actually sung, and we can capture that. And then the ambition there is if we make them really happy, we can eventually watermark everything they produce as copyright. So like we own that entire, they technically own it, but we help them, maintain that existing revenue stream as well as any new revenue streams that come out of this new generative AI world.
Here, and just a quick follow-up there. Where are you guys based? And when we say active pipeline, and then you're raising to kind of go to market, what do you guys need to go to market? Where is this funding, this round going to be used for?
Yeah, so we're based in San Francisco, home of AI, obviously amazing, great resources here. And then active pipeline just is any customer that's still actively in communication with us, some of them even negotiating either contracts or anything like that. The opposite of it are like customers who are not interested and we lost them, So anyone that's essentially the opposite of that. And then we're currently raising like a million to 1.5, and the focus of that is like give us at least minimum 18 months runway and use that to continue to develop the product, as well as make sure we understand our true sales engine, our true offering. As you can see, we're just an API now, but we want to have a narrow focus. We have hypotheses, but we have to test them, So by the time we're raising a seed, we've nailed that sales engine. We know what our true offering is. So the seed round is just an acceleration of what we already know. So, yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Aman, I loved your presentation. I have no further questions. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank
right,
you, everyone. I really appreciate Viaka. Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Aman.
Yeah, I was gonna give my appreciation. So thank you, Honey, and your team for letting me do this.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I would never want to cut you off when you're giving your appreciation. No, really, really appreciate, everyone who pitched, the investors for sharing your time. As I said, Lace and Malak as well, thank you both so much for helping make this happen. Huge thank you to SVB and Taft as well for their continued support for this event and ones like it. Hope to catch as many of you as we can soon at an event, whether virtual or in person. Huge gratitude to this community. Really excited about the quality of the founders that pitched today. So thank you all, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Take
Thank you,
care.
Annie.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Honey.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.